I've uncovered the exact reason for why most diets fail. People try going from 0 to 100 instead of from 0 to 1 to 2 and to 3. So first of all, what is the 0-1-2 principle? This is something that I came up with recently, and I think it perfectly explains why most people fall off of their dieting and training routines. I think we all intuitively understand what this principle is, but this video is a reminder just so you can refresh your brain and really apply this in your own journey. The 0-1-2 principle is the idea that slow, daily, weekly, and monthly changes over the span of long periods of time produce better and more sustainable results than making rapid changes. So let's play this mental movie out for a second. Who do you think is more likely to lose fat? Person number one who goes on the keto diet or any other unsustainable fat diet where they can't eat the favorite foods that they want to eat. They see the progress and they start losing weight, but they're uncomfortable with their diet. Or person number two who makes very small dietary changes like limiting their alcohol intake, maybe limiting their sugar intake over the span of weeks and months. Who do you think is going to make more progress? And this is a bit counterintuitive, I understand, because it looks like person one is going to make better progress, and they do. In the short term, they do make better progress. But the key point being, in the short term, you see fat loss, nutrition, muscle growth, and all of health is a marathon and not a sprint. And look, every single little soy boy will tell you the exact same thing. Oh, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But what does this actually look like for the average person? Let's go beyond these traditional sayings and let me give you the real deal. If you start your weight loss journey really fast and make a bunch of grand changes within your life, you are basically starting the marathon at a sprint, which then in turn you are going to burn out very quickly. But if you start off weight loss as slow as you can, like how I simply started cutting out sugar from my coffee to remove an extra 200 calories per day, then it barely feels like you're making any type of change within the months and the years. But looking back after a long period of time, you come to realize that you have made significant progress. Going from 0 to 100 is the person that wants to start exercise and then says, okay, I am going to work out 7 times per week, 1 hour per day. Like, congratulations, bro. That type of progress took me literally 5 years of consistent exercise. For me to reach the point where I was able to work out an hour per day every single day, it literally took me years and years. But no, you're built different. You have the discipline for this. You can just jump into the highest difficulty and expect to be swimming with the sharks. Because when you put your mind to something, you really put your mind to it. You are really built different. But in all seriousness, no. Like, you are going to quit. Why are you trying to jump your lifestyle from the average fat person to a full-time athlete? On the other hand, let's take a different perspective. How about the person who goes from 0 to 1 to 2? That person would say, okay, I want to exercise too, but they would start with a 30-minute training block 3 times per week. Seems pretty easy, right? Most people can find 90 minutes in a 10,000 minute week. Then once they get comfortable with 3 workouts per week, they may start doing 4 workouts per week. After a couple months, they may be comfortable doing 5 workouts per week, up until the point where within months, you are working out every single day, but it didn't feel difficult at all to work your way up there. The 0 to 1 to 2 principle is effective because both ways get you to 100. But the idea is the 0 to 100 person is going to quit, while the 0 to 1 to 2 person will not. Going from 0 to 1 to 2 will take you to 100 over the span of weeks, months, and years. But the trick is, going from 0 to 1 is 100 times easier than going from 0 to 100. Going from 1 to 2 is 100 times easier than going from 0 to 100. Every step you take is significantly easier than going from 0 to 100. Going from 0 to 1 is literally as easy as eating 1% less candy per day. But over a longer span of time, this adds up to absolutely ridiculous results. You will look back within a year and realize that you're at that 100. You are at that place where you want it to be, but it only felt as difficult as going from 0 to 1. If you want an analogy for this and anyone's had braces, then this is a perfect thing to compare this to. If you wanted to straighten your teeth, Which method is better? You tell me right now. Putting on braces that shift your palate and shift your teeth into place over the span of weeks, months, and years, or yanking your teeth and just grabbing them with full force all in one go. Now, this may sound dumb. Of course, the braces are better. It's more sustainable, and chances are if you yank it in one go, all your goddamn teeth are going to fall out. So in the same way, going from 0 to 1 to 2 is much more sustainable because 0 to 100 is going to break your willpower. And it's not if it's gonna break your willpower, it's when it's gonna break your willpower, because I've never seen anyone go from 0 to 100 except someone like David Goggins. Trying to hop on the perfect diet and exercise routine when you are a beginner is like trying to fight a level 100 boss in an RPG game when you are level 1. Sure, there is a slight sliver of chance that you may be able to beat the level 100 boss, and then you grab all of his loot and you've come to realize that actually mentally you are super strong. So go give it a try. But if you've been trying these level 100 bosses, if you've been trying and failing all of these diets over and over again, like how I was for so many fucking years, to the point where you cried yourself to sleep every night, then just take my advice. For the love of God, try something different. Please try this out, because this is what saved me from literally being suicidal. So keeping all of this in mind, here are 5 simple ways that you can implement the 0 to 1 to 2 principle within your life today. Number 1, your diet. This is the obvious, so let's get this out of the way first. What are some ways to go from 0 to 1 to 2 on your diet? So as I previously mentioned, when I started my weight loss journey, my method of going from 0 to 1 to 2 was simply removing sugar from my coffee. Would it be hard for you to make a little change like this? Probably not. Is it really that difficult to stop drinking coffee with sugar for the rest of your life? Or instead of adding sugar, just adding a 0-calorie sweetener? No, it's quite easy. And it doesn't look like a big change at all. That's not going to really impact your weight loss, right? But that's the idea. You see, I used to put 2 teaspoons of sugar and I used to drink 5 coffees per day. That adds up to 10 teaspoons of sugar, or around 200 calories per day. Once again, a 200 calorie per day deficit, you know, it's notable, but it's nothing crazy. But if I just made this one simple switch and nothing else, over the span of a year, that would have lost me 20 pounds of weight. Do you see how much crazier fat loss results sound when you stop thinking day to day and how much fat am I going to lose week to week, and you extend your time horizon to months and years? And look, let me give you a little secret from the business world, from the successful world. Peasants think in days and weeks. The more successful you are, the grander vision you have for your life. And typically, to achieve great goals, to achieve grand things, takes not months, not years, but decades and centuries. So as soon as you extend your time horizon, you can literally accomplish anything in life. Now, what I did next is I had unsweetened coffee. Okay, I made some progress when I removed sugar. What did I do next? I removed the milk that I was drinking in my coffee. Everything else within my diet was exactly the same. I was eating all the junk food, all the other snacks that I wanted. All I did was I just started drinking coffee without sugar and then without milk. Now, this removed an extra 150 calories from my daily coffees. I still got the stimulation, I still got to drink the coffee, and everything was perfect. It was literally like I made no change at all. But if we add just the small coffee tweak that I made, that saved me over 350 calories per day. And over the span of a year, that is over 35 pounds of fat, or just a little more than half a pound of weight loss per week. Now, once again, remember, all I did was I removed milk and sugar from my coffee. Is it really that difficult to remove milk and sugar from your coffee? Look, you don't even have to completely go to 0. You can just replace the sugar with sweeteners. You can replace the milk with, you know, some type of lower calorie alternative that will also fatten up the coffee. Is it really that hard of a change to make? No, it's not. Now, the cool thing about this is there are literally millions of hacks like this that you can implement in your diet. You can remove any excess oil that you cook with, you know, just use the bare minimum amount of oil so the food actually cooks. It's going to taste, sure, maybe 10% worse, but you are saving 200 calories. You can switch to sugar-free foods. You can switch to diet sodas if you're drinking regular sodas. And now let's say you make a few of these changes. You can save upwards of 1,000 calories per day and barely feel like you are suffering to make these changes. That 1,000 calorie deficit that you can put yourself in can literally amount to 2 pounds of fat loss per week, or over 100 pounds of weight loss per year. And in that time that you've lost all the weight, the sacrifices that you made will not even feel like sacrifices at all. Number 2, sleep. Sleep is by far one of the most important things to fix if you do not have in check. It's not that sleep itself has a lot of magic behind it, but the best way I can explain is sleep is almost like a multiplier on every single negative or positive habit that you do day to day. Sleep will give you more energy, it will give you more willpower, which will make it easier to exercise, and you will be making better decisions all the freaking time. So how do you go from 0 to 1 to 2 for sleep? Most people will try to force a sleep schedule just bam out of nowhere. They go to sleep at 12, 1 a.m. and then the next day they're like, oh, I'm gonna start waking up at 5 a.m. That's going from 0 to 100. That's not gonna work. Going from 0 to 1 to 2 would be adding in very tiny sleep hacks in order to slowly and automatically make your sleep better. Start with the bare essentials. Small little changes that barely feel like changes at all. Put on the blue light filter on your phone or on your computer. Do that for a few weeks and then later consider maybe not charging your phone within your room so you're not scrolling social media before you're going to sleep and stimulating yourself. Now that your phone is not in your room, after a couple weeks, consider not using your phone or any other electronics 1 hour before going to bed. Would it be unreasonable for you to implement these habits over the span of weeks and months? Probably not. As long as you give yourself a long enough time horizon, then it doesn't need to be difficult at all. Or what I did when I fixed up my sleep schedule is I would wake up 15 minutes earlier and go to sleep 15 minutes earlier every single day for a week, and then shift the time backwards next week up until I was waking up at 5 a.m. I set the goal to wake up at 5 a.m., but currently I was waking up at 7. So instead of just waking up randomly at 5 a.m. one night, I did not have the discipline for that. So instead of that, the next day I went to sleep at 9:45 and then woke up at 6:45. A week later, I went to sleep at 9:30, woke up at 6:30, and on up until I was going to bed at 9 and waking up at 5. Some other sleep hacks that you can implement is get blackout curtains. I have them right here. They are wonderful and a game changer. Try sleeping in a colder room. Try not eating a few hours before bed. And once again, you can literally progress each and every single one of these principles. So if you are eating 1 hour before bed, maybe next week try to push that back to 2 hours. If that becomes easy, push it back to 4 hours. If that becomes easy, push it back 6 hours. Typically, I find somewhere between 6 to 8 hours to be the optimal time to get in your last meal. Is it optimal for muscle growth? No. Should you be eating around the clock? Yeah, you probably should if you want to grow more muscle and lose more weight. When it comes to mental clarity and overall health, I find that to be better. Your sleep quality will be better if you eat your last meal 6 to 8 hours before you go to bed. And now look, one of the best sleep hacks that I can give you is simply waking up at the same time every freaking day. Monday through Sunday, wake up at the same goddamn time. You are not 12 years old anymore. Live like a fucking adult. Your body likes consistency. And look, this is a really hard one to sell because people want to party on the weekends. People want to do this and that. But the way that I like to explain it is, you know, when you sleep in on the weekends, you get like a full 10 hours of sleep, 11 hours of sleep, and you wake up feeling so refreshed that it actually becomes more difficult to fall asleep than to wake up. Like, you genuinely want to wake up, right? If you're in a constant sleep schedule, that is how you feel Monday through Sunday. You will get the perfect amount of sleep and you will actually want to get out of bed when your sleep schedule is the same every single day. It is one of the best sleep hacks that you can implement, and recently studies have found that having a consistent sleep schedule is actually more important than the amount of sleep that you get. Number 3, exercise. This one once again is quite self-explanatory. Instead of telling yourself that you're gonna exercise and then starting a workout routine 7 times per week for an hour every single day, just find an exercise method that you enjoy first and foremost. So you're going to have to try all of them. Yeah, I know it sucks, but you need to try them. Stop being a bitch. And then simply start by exercising 3 times per week in 30-minute sessions. Once that becomes too easy, go 4 times per week and on and on. Everyone that I've seen that starts at 0 and then immediately jumps to 6 or 7 training sessions per week always gives up. I have literally never seen anyone actually commit to 6 or 7 training sessions per week. Most of these people will exercise for 3 months, and that's being very generous. Then there will come a day while they were then there will come a day while they're what the fuck then there will come a day where they miss a workout, and then their mind will tell them, actually, I've lost all my progress. There's no point to go. I skipped one workout, so there's no point of working out anymore. That sounds ridiculous, right? But this is how these people operate. It's all or nothing. God forbid I exercise 3 times per week. No, I'm gonna train like a professional athlete, even though I've never been athletic in my life. If I can't stick to that in my first try, then I guess I'm not built for exercise. It's always the guy that starts with 30 to 60 minutes 3 times a week that becomes consistent and actually becomes very, very motivated to exercise, and then later pushes it on to basically training every day. I don't know what it is about the 3 times per week, 1 hour sessions, but there's something magical about it. It's the ultimate beginner schedule. 3 times per week, 30 minutes to an hour. It works for everyone. All of those people stick to their exercise routines long term, and I think it might just be a sweet spot where it's not too little, but it's not too much. It's that perfect middle, so try that out. Number 4, social life. If you spend time with fat people, you are going to be fat. It's as simple as that. Full stop, period. You can argue with me all you want, but I have abs and you don't. Your brain got you fat, my brain got me fat, I've brainwashed myself, and you're next in line. You are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. That means if your friends are fat, you will also be fat. So you need to slowly change your friend circle using the 0 to 1 to 2 method. Now this sounds harsh, but all successful people in every endeavor across anything you can think of do this. Rich people cut off broke people, dragging them down. Ambitious people don't hang around lazy people. And fit people don't hang around fat people. Now sure, you can just go from 0 to 100 and tell all your fat friends that you don't want to be friends with them anymore. But the easier way to go about this and not embarrass yourself is you simply slowly start talking to more athletic people. Then over the span of weeks, months, and years, as you become more athletic, you'll come to realize that everyone around you is also in fantastic shape, and bam, you have a new friend circle and you don't have fat loser friends anymore. Slowly spend less time with the people that are dragging you away from your goals. If you're trying to lose weight, why are you going out to eat McDonald's with your fat friends or just chatting shit on their couch watching movies? Is that progressing you towards the person that you want to be? No. So slowly start reducing the amount of interactions that are like this. Whenever I speak about this in any other context, people seem to understand. Yeah, of course, if you are ambitious, don't hang around lazy people that are smoking weed and fucking doing drugs all day. But as soon as I mention fat people and people who are trying to lose weight, then it's like, oh my god, you're such a horrible person. But no, it's the exact same thing. If you are hanging out with people who are detracting you away from your goals, then you are hanging out with people who are taking you away from your goals. Stop it. Stop being a fucking idiot. Build a new circle of friends, and I promise you, your weight loss will accelerate. Number 5, stress. You need to learn how to manage your stress because it literally mechanistically fucks up your sleep and your fat loss and your muscle growth and every other thing concerning health. You will store more fat if your cortisol is high. So let me give you some ways to reduce stress that aren't sleep, diet, and exercise, which by far, by the way, are the best ways to reduce stress. Number 1 is meditation. I've been meditating 10 minutes every single day for the past God knows how long. And once again, you don't start with 10 minutes. You start with 1 minute. You start with 2 minutes. Then you progress to 3 minutes. Over the span of weeks and months, you get to 5 minutes and 10 minutes per day. To reduce stress, lower the amount of alcohol you drink. Lower the amount of fucking drugs you do. If you're drinking Henny, smoking Stizzy, and taking Uber charge, fucking hell, and taking Uber charge every weekend, you are going to be crashing all week. So start lowering your doses or start spacing out the amount of times you do this. Another thing you can do is slowly reduce the amount of negative social media content that you consume. This video is not negative content, please continue watching. You can simply start by adding a screen time widget on your phone. That's been proven to reduce your screen time by 30%, so that will automatically cut how much you're, scrolling random bullshit. That takes no sacrifice whatsoever, and you get all the upside. Consider unsubscribing from people who aren't helping you get closer to your goals. Maybe set your phone to black and white, and so on. This is not a productivity video. You can find better productivity tips. I will post more, so subscribe for that, but you get the point. If you found this video helpful, press the first link in the description and join our school group. There, you will find more in-depth courses on nutrition, weight loss, and muscle growth that will fast track your journey to success.